of yester year. We're on the 19th of Shvat, marks the Hilula of Rabbi Yehuda ben Yaakov נחמה Zecher Tzadik Livracha. He was born in English in 1825 and passed away in 1899. We're talking about 126 years ago, here from the time of recording, here in 2025. He was also nicknamed the Harin, really great rabbi. Now he was born, I believe, in English in 1825. We're talking about 200 years ago in Saloniki, in modern-day Greece, and he would learn in the great Talmud Torah and the Shivot of those cities, in that city in of itself, respectively. In Saloniki, there was a prominent Jewish community at that stage in time, and he would be ordained later on, while he was at a young age, to the rabbinate, let's just say, and was trained also teaching and educating in himself. While he was still a youth, he enriched his knowledge. He read vast different, let's say, many different books. He acquired the English language, French and Italian language, so he was multilingual and would engage also. He was into book trading. That was one of his ambitions and one of his hobbies, and he had a huge, vast library of different books in himself. His trading house, reported was known throughout Europe, and many turned to him for the purchase of books, printing and translation. Remember how much powerful it was at that stage in time to be into printing or into publishing in of itself, and that's something, a virtue he definitely did have. Very interesting enough, and had a famous library, let's just say, which I'd recommend everyone to learn more about. Now, it's actually interesting. He would get married. His wife's name, his wife actually came from the famous wealthy family in of itself, from Yaakov Modigliano. Happened to be a very great, let's just say, person, a wealthy man of his generation. He was a descendant of the famous family, like a Yuchas, as they say, like a strengthened one of the Livorno-based families in Saloniki, respectively. Livorno was a very prominent, or still is, a prominent place in Italy, and has a rich Italian heritage in of itself. And I believe at the time period, I think his father passed away. He would then work, I think, within regards to his father's business. Obviously, his father was, I think, also engaged in a printing business, you could say, in of itself. So he would manage his father's business and expand it into other areas of commerce in of itself, I believe. And he would travel frequently to different cities and use these trips also at the same time, while he was working in business, to meet with the great rabbis of those various different locales in of itself. Now, he was one of the most active activists in the community and its institutions. He was all throughout, had a huge breadth within regards to Torah, within regards to the community, and really liked to get close to the various different important people. He would serve a member, let's say, of the community committee, and he was active within regards to the welfare societies of the congregation. Especially, there was a Bikور Holim charity organization where he would serve as a president of the society. Very prestigious, let's say, foundation and charitable organization itself. Now, there was an Alliance school system, I think, would open up. So he would found that branch. It was like, let's say, a Jewish school system over there, which I think incorporated, let's say, some secular studies. So I think this was in the 1860s, mid-1860s. I think come 1864, he established a local committee to establish a school, headed by, I think, a Dr. Moshe Tini, if I'm not mistaken, and would obtain support of, I think at that point in time, the Chambashi of Saloniki was Rabbi Asher Kobo. Remember, we've spoken about the Kobo rabbinic dynasty in itself, and I think come with the 1873, they established a boys' school in Saloniki. Also, I think that might have been connected also with the Alliance network of schools. And now it's interesting, he would try to develop and spread Hebrew as a new modern language at that point in time. Obviously, Hebrew has been always our language, but at the time tried to make a renaissance of it with his various different other colleagues, חברת, and he would edit a newspaper which was founded in the year 1865. This newspaper had a purpose, was to spread Jewish, let's just say, thought in of itself. And he founded the חברת Sfat Emet movement, which aimed to revive Hebrew among every Jewish person through the study within regards to the Torah in of itself and the periodicals and various different books. They passed away, I believe, in the year 1899. We're talking about 126 years ago. I think he was about 73 years of age, if I'm not mistaken, approximately at the time of passing. There was a huge funeral that was, let's just say, that was held for him, It was attended by many thousands of people. To various city rabbis came, and consuls actually came, and various different European dignitaries. It was reported over. Now it's actually reported over that in the year 1890 there was famously, I believe, a fire. A big fire broke out in Saloniki, and it destroyed, let's just say, the spiritual treasures of the city. Some of his writings were reduced to ashes and was destroyed totally. It was reported over. He had various different Torah works he had written in his time, and especially, I think they're called the Nidchei Yisrael, Yehуда, which was, I believe, on the Chronicles of Am Yisrael. Then the Yehuda Saloniki was, I think, also based within regards to the history, the rich history of the Greek Jewish community of that specific area in itself. There's Shilot and Shuvot, questions and answers on different Jewish subjects in of itself. And I think there was, among the books that actually come out, was the Mechtavei Dudim Mayayin, which was Chidushim on the Torah, and the Talmud in of itself, and Shutz on Halacha, questions and answers on various different Jewish law topics. The Hasa Ha'ivrit Va'am Ha'ivri. This was, I think, a booklet which was remembering, let's just say, the people. I think in of itself, I think it was a famous, let's just say, memory of individuals who were close to him. He would actually leave like a chronicle, I think, a collection of essays. And there was another, I think, the last book I see recorded, the Ayal Lo Na'ar, which was, let's just say, a gathering within regards to the various different ma'amarim, as we say in Hebrew, collection of various different essays that he actually compiled. So he passed away, I believe, it was in the year 1899. He was a famous rabbi of his time. Remember, we've spoken about many great rabbis who happened to be, I believe, from Greece in of itself, and much more can be stated within regards to the great Chacham. It was, remember, Greece also is called the Yavan, we will call in Hebrew, and that will be another interesting thing. I think this El Luna book was an encyclopedic monthly. It was published on every single month in of itself. It's actually interesting. I think he would have various different, from his printing press, he worked with at some point in time in secret because there was difficulties in obtaining government approvals with regards to this. I think reported over, the governor Hafsi Pasha learned of his printing press at one point in time and would order confiscation of his equipment and caused many different problems at various different times, which was there was anti-Semitism all throughout Jewish history, and unfortunately he was a victim very much within regards to that. His community committee, he would serve in 1875, also in 1878. He was elected to serve as a special member of the committee within regards to, he made the changes within regards to local Talmud Torah and introduced a number of useful changes, let's just say productive changes at that point in time, I would think, within regards to Talmud Torah system in of itself at that point in time. The Sfat Emet society, which we spoke about before, was to revive the Hebrew language all throughout different places. He had correspondence with rabbis all throughout Europe, especially in Russia, Austria, also in France, and in Britain. He was close, I believe, with Rabbi Shmuel David Lusato, another rabbi we spoke about before, famous poet, philosopher, literary scholar, and translator. Also, another one was Peretz Smolenskin, I think also happened to be a Hebrew writer and publicist. And Yom Tov Lippmann Sunz, he happened to be a German Jewish scholar and was considered the father of the Chochmat Yisrael movement in of itself. So he was in contact with many of the different people all throughout Europe. I think his library contained many books and was kept by the Jewish community in Saloniki, and I think it was eventually confiscated, and some of the books were lost at the time of the arrival of the cruel Nazi Germany when they came to Saloniki, I think come up May 1941. So yeah, please learn more about the rabbi. It's very interesting to always hear about the great Greece Rabbanim of his time. And please don't forget to light candles, and wishing you blessings all from Israel. Take care.